Hello, students. Welcome back to this second part of the lesson An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. We have covered about the poet and first two stanzas of this poem. So let's begin without any delay. As we have discussed, the poet discusses about the pitiable condition of all those children who are studying in the school of slum area. There are some children whose hair is compared to rootless weeds. There is a girl burdened with poverty, weighs down head with sees with bent head. There is a paper seeming boy, thin as if he is paper. There is one unnoted boy who is not paying attention to the class, who is looking outside the classroom. So let's begin this. On sour cream walls, donations, sour cream walls. How are the walls? Dirty, dirty white. Because it seems that those walls haven't been painted since many months or years. Those walls haven't been painted recently. There are donations hanging. What are the donations? Donations are in form of pictures and charts. These are given as a mark of charity. Shakespeare's head. What is hanging? There is a picture of Shakespeare's head, bald head, cloudless at dawn, cloudless, bald, and it resembles as if the sun is coming out. The head of Shakespeare resembles the coming sun at dawn. Civilized dome riding all cities. Civilized dome. There are huge buildings in the picture, and those pictures are suggesting civilization. Those pictures are related to civilized people. Belled. Belled here means having bells. Bells means there are some churches as well. Flowery. There is Tyrolese Valley, a beautiful ice free valley in Austria. There is a description of Tyrolese Valley, which is full of flowers. So there is a picture hanging over there of what? Of Tyrolese Valley that is full of flowers. There is no snow. Open handed map. Some other things are also there. There is an open handed map, a free hand map, awarding the world its world. And this map is awarding the world its world. This map is telling there is another world beyond this slum. And yet, for these children, these windows, not this map. But for these children, these windows, not this map, their world. For those children who are in slum, the things which are shown in pictures or in map are not their world. Their world is those windows, those confined places, slum, where all their future is painted with a fog, where their future is painted with a fog, their future is full of obscurity. There is no hope for better future, no hope for prosperity in their future. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, a narrow street sealed in. Their life is compared to a narrow street. There is no scope in their life. It is sealed, seized, confined in with a lead sky. It is compared to their miserable condition. They are not hopeful, and there is no way to get out of that slum. Their future is dark. That is why it is compared with a lead sky, that is dark future of kids, those children. Far, far from rivers. Once again, there is repetition. The very first line was repetition. Once again, far, far from rivers, capes and stars of words. Far, far. They are far away. To lay emphasis on distance, it is used again. Far, far from rivers. Their life is far from rivers. There are no rivers in their lives as it is seen in the pictures. Capes, the seashore, and stars of words. They are lacking in all these things. Surely Shakespeare is wicked. For them, Shakespeare is wicked. They do not like Shakespeare because people do not like them. So they have learned the same thing from people. People do not like them, they do not like people. That is why they say Shakespeare is wicked. The map, a bad example. And for them, that map is a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal. There are other pictures showing ships, sun, love, all these things tempt them to steal. They force them to steal. Why do they steal? For lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes. This is because of their living. They turn in their cramped holes. They are forced to steal. In the locality where they live, most of the children are thieves. So they learn the same thing. They start stealing from early childhood. From fog to endless night, they are forced to live the miserable life of slum from morning to late night. These children make desperate efforts to live their life despite all odds. They try to live well despite all these odds. On their slag heap, heap means pile, a large pile of waste material. On their slag heap, on their large pile of waste material, that is slum, these children wear skins peeped through by bones. The poet has compared their skin, that is transparent. Their skeleton is visible through their skin. One could see the ribs and speckles of steel with mended glass. They have speckles made of steel, rough, cheap, mended glass, not good quality of glass. They have good quality of speckles. They have like bottle bits on stones, and these speckles have scratches on glass, just like bottle bits on stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum. What do they have in their life? All of their time and space are foggy slum. Their life is obscure. Their life is full of darkness. So all of their time and space are foggy slum, the darkness they have in the slum area. So blot their maps with slum as big as doom. So blot their maps, to make their maps with a spot as big as doom. There must be slum nothing else. No picture of Shakespeare, no picture of Tyrolese Valley or any other ship, sun, nothing. It must be there only one thing, that is slums, because their life is full of disasters. Now, in this stanza, the poet is asking, the poet appeals the authorities. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, they are living the same condition. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Till any such personalities like governor, inspector, visitors come over there. You know very well, whenever there is inspection time, there is a lot of decoration. So before the arrival of any such prominent person like governor, inspector, or visitor, there is no change at all. This map becomes their window. The map shown in the classroom is their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. What are these windows compared to? Windows of classroom are compared to like catacombs. Catacombs means graves, cemetery graves where dead are buried. So you know very well that place is very confined, not too much space. Break, oh break open till they break the town. What is he appealing? Break, oh break open. All those windows must be opened for them till they break the town, lest they break the town. Break, oh break open till they break the town, lest they should break the town. And so the children to green fields, and asking the authorities to show those children green fields, natural beauty, and make their world run azure on gold sands, and asking us to show them greenery, natural beauty, and to make their world run azure, deep blue in color, on gold sands, and let their tongues give a voice to them. Let their tongues run naked into books. They must be allowed to study more and more. Let their tongues run naked into books. That means they should be given opportunities to learn more and more. They should be given books to study more and more. The white and green leaves open. White and green. What is white here? Books. And leaves, green leaves, nature. They must be given books and nature, open spaces, not those confined classrooms in slum. Because the poem ends with a very touching line, universal line. History theirs whose language is the sun. History is theirs whose language is the freedom must be given to them. And who will give? Authorities. So authorities must be asked to do such things. Now, once again, I would like to recapitulate from the first stanza. In the very first stanza, we see the faces of children that are starved, pale in color. There is a girl with waist down, head, bent head because of burden of poverty. There is a paper seeming boy. There is also a boy who has inherited his father's twisted bones, disease. At the end, in the corner, in the darkest place, there is a boy, a young boy sitting who is unnoticed. No one is caring at him, and he is looking outside the window. His attention is not in the classroom. Further, we see a description of the classroom. The walls are dirty. There are some pictures which are given as donations. There is a picture of Shakespeare. Some maps are also there. There is a picture of Tyrolese Valley. But this is not the world for those children. Their world is confined. It is compared to a narrow street from where they are not allowed to go out. And for them, Shakespeare is wicked. Why? Because those people, those civilized people, do not like them. That is why they do not like civilized people. They are forced to live their pitiable life, their pathetic life, their miserable life from morning till late night. But these children make desperate efforts to live their life despite all odds, all these adverse conditions. Furthermore, we talked about some children who are wearing mended glass. And in the last stanza, we studied the poet making an appeal to those people who are in authority, governor, inspector, and those who are civilized, to allow them to live their life, lest they should destroy others. In the end, we studied the very important line in this poem: history is theirs, whose language is the sun. So they must be given a chance to prove themselves. They could do something. Now, we'll study some literary devices used in the poem. First of all, we have simile. You know very well where there is as, like, so, and there is a comparison between two objects or person. There is simile. Like rootless weed. The first one we have like rootless weed. Like bottle bits on stones, slums as big as dooms. Next we have metaphor. There are plenty of examples of metaphor in the poem, and some of them I have put here. Paper seeming boy. Paper seeming, similar to paper. Crammed holes. The wide green leaves open. Sour cream walls. Narrow street sealed with lead sky. Repetition. Far, far. In the starting, I told you what is repetition when two words are repeated. To lay emphasis on the word far, far, that is very far away. Next is alliteration, repetition of sound of any particular letter that is given in the poem. Use of F from fog. F, F. Next is anaphora. Anaphora, using same word in two different lines, consecutive lines. Use of repeated words in two consecutive lines. What are the two lines? Second last and third last line. Run azure and run naked. Then comes assonance. There are two, consonants and assonance. Assonance means repetition of vowel sound, that is E in the poem. E, belled, flowery, Tyrolese valley. E is repeated again and again. So what is this? Vowel. If it was any such letter like consonant, so it should be consonance. Last one is allusion. What is allusion? Reference to well-known person or place. For example, Shakespeare's head, we all know very well. And Tyrolese Valley, a famous valley in Austria. A beautiful ice free, snow free valley in Austria. That's all in this video.